cutting down posts. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals. We don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Yahuwah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, and we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, yeah. We don't need these stones. We ain't no gods. That's a job for Yah. Your word be forsaken, even if we're hated, even if we're hated.
We won't go the way of the pagans.
We don't need no
potions or sages.
We won't let your word. No, even if we're, we won't go the way. We don't need no potions or sages. We won't let your word be forsaken. Even if we're, even if we're hated. Even if we're hated. Even if we're hated. Even if we're we won't go the way of the pagan. Even if we're hated. We're tearing down idols and we cutting down poles. We're calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals. We don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. Everybody help me say all praise.
All praise to the Most High.
I can't hear you say.
All praise to the Most High.
All praise
to the Most High.
Hey, all praise.
All praise to the Yah of Israel.
Peace and blessings, Shalom. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Family, man, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. Didn't mean to get loud. I was actually adjusting in my seat. But anyway, there's a lot going on here, family. Let me tell you, and I know it's been a while since we kind of talked about all the stuff that's going on. I mean, I hadn't mentioned anything about 3i Atlas, all the weird stuff going on with that. Even to this day, they're still trying to figure out what it is and what it's doing. I mean, it came in, I believe when it came into the solar system, it was red, and then it changed to green, and then it passed by the sun, and now all of a sudden the astronomers are abuzz because it changed color again. Now it's gold. It was like, this don't happen. This don't happen, family. So now it's gold, and now they're trying to figure out what's going on with it. It's like I said, family, there's a lot of stuff going on at this day and age. And then, of course, you know, all the CK stuff, if you can read between the lines, Charlie Kirk, right? All this stuff that's going on. Candace Owens is in the forefront. I know a lot of people kind of feel some sort of way about Candace Owens, but, you know, hey, when we look at this, family, hopefully you'll be able to see that the Most High has turned the people or the enemies of Israel against themselves. And praise be to the Most High. Whenever Israel was in captivity or living in the land of the captivity, it's like the Most High used a nation or people to come and rescue captive Israel. To rescue captive Israel. You know what? That actually sounds like a Christmas song. Since it is the Christmas season, let me see if I can share my screen. We need to get in the Christmas. I know we Hebrews, we don't celebrate Christmas. We know that's pagan, right? But we gonna see what they sing, and just to show you that sometimes they what folks will do, family, is that they'll put this truth like right in front of us, and it's been in front of us this whole time, but we didn't even know it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find this screen. Let me see if I can find it. I know it's on my browser here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me do StreamYard. All right, so you can see my StreamYard screen. I'm going to pull this over. All right, so hopefully you can see this. So what you're looking at, and let me see, hopefully that doesn't play. We got something playing in the background. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. So this is just, like I said, this is one of those songs that, back when we were, still sleeping, we were still going to that Sunday morning church. And in the church, when we get to church, especially this time of year, a lot of the, of us were in the church singing these Christmas songs, anywhere from the satanic Santa Claus to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? And this was one of those songs, the reason why I brought this one up, is I was actually driving. And if you know, of course, these Christmas songs are everywhere, so you almost, can't escape it. So this came on the radio. It's playing on the radio, and I was just listening to the lyrics, and I was like, man, this song got some truth in it. And this is that the one that talks about, O come, Emmanuel. You know what I'm talking about, family? Where it talks about, I actually pulled up the words. I know it might be small on your screen, but hopefully you can see it. Where it talks about, O come, Emmanuel, and rescue captive Israel. What? Think about this, family. This is a song, right? It says that mourns in lovely exile here until the son of, they say God, but of Yahuwah appear. Now, come on. Then it says, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to you, O Israel. And I got to tell you, I was driving. I was like, what? Man, this song's all about Israel, right? I mean, of course, you keep going through it. You read the rest of the, the lyrics here. You can see it says, O come. It says, O wisdom from on high, who ordered all things mightily, to us the path knowledge show and teach us in its way to go. It says, refrain. O come, great, says Lord, but Yah of might, who to your tribes on Sinai's height in ancient times did give the law. What? We were singing about the law on Christmas, family. Did you know that? Did you know that every time this song came on, we were singing about the law? It says, in the cloud and majesty's all, refrain. Man, I'm telling you, family, sometimes it just goes to show that, this truth has been there the whole time. But I know people think, hey, you guys are Hebrew, Black Hebrew Israelites. That's the term that they try to use for us in this day and age. And believe it or not, family, for some reason, starting in, I want to say November, of course, you've heard Netanyahu and the Israeli state talk about, they have these new internet initiatives where they're going to start pushing stuff on social media. Well, sure enough, after they came out with that, all of a sudden I started noticing that there were some people on social media that started making videos against our community. And this is what I mean. You gotta give credit where credit is due. It's funny. I mean, and basically this user, I believe his name is Mr. Bridge or something like that. I think he's on TikTok. But it's funny stuff. But all he does, starting in November, and you wonder if he's getting one of those $7,000 checks. But starting in November, he started making videos against our community, or at least making fun against our community. So check this out. This is just one of the videos.
Yeah, man, we are still in the land. We in the struggle.
Facts. Yahusha gonna deliver us real soon.
Yeah, man, we are still in the land of our captivity. We in the struggle.
Facts. Yahusha gonna deliver us real soon from this land of the captives. Real soon.
That's right.
Yeah, man, we are.
So you get the point. You get the point. So he has a bunch of videos out there. Even solicited some characters from some of the apologetics community, urban apologetics community. So I'm guessing $7,000 per video. What do you think, family? At least, right? So we have these attacks coming against our community, and it's not just him. If you're on social media, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's also some other videos that are being made against our community. Check this out.
Why the Hebrew Israelite will not preach the gospel. If you notice that the Hebrew Israelites will not preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now you may be thinking like, wait a minute, these guys are very versed in the word. But notice that antichrist spirit. They would not preach Christ crucified ever. And any man that don't preach Christ, that's the spirit of the Antichrist. These some demonic brothers, very evil. But see, God has a plan for them. God gonna destroy every last one of them for using his word in vain. It's pure evil and hatred, and it's wrong. So if you a Hebrew Israelite, brother, come out of that evil and come out of that false evil doctrine, because it ain't real. You ain't gonna take over nobody in this world. God ain't gonna allow it. He ain't gonna let you, because you're evil.
Because you're evil. Because you are trying to pursue the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, the question is he correct? And for that, let's take it to the book. Let's take it to the book. Because this is one of those things, family, where I know that just like you all, I know when I came into the truth and I started to actually read the scriptures for myself. And then I know a lot of people kind of go back and forth with various verses and stuff like that, but I like to keep it simple. That's my motto, even being in IT, dealing with different systems and whatnot. I try to keep it simple. That is my model. And usually that's the best solution to whatever problem that you're running into. Well, when it comes to this discussion as to, are the Hebrew Israelites, using their term bad because we're trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Now, and granted, of course, we know about the curses and the promises in the beginning that when Most High said, well, hey, if you follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you'll be blessed. All these good things that happen to you. If you don't, you'll be cursed. All these bad things that happen to you. You'll be scattered across across the four corners of the earth, and you'll be living in your land of your captivities, the land of your enemies. And so here we are living in the land of our captivity, in the lands of our enemies. And it is solely because we did not follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yah. And then we have, some of our people telling us to keep on trucking, keep on breaking those laws, statutes, and commandments. You'll be good. Most High forgive you, right? Well, like I said, I like to keep it simple. And I know everybody has their own different verses and stuff for combating that foolishness. But what I want to share with you, let me take you to Revelations. And what I like to show people is like who's in and who's out. Like, we all trying to get into the kingdom, right? We all trying to hang out with the Most High, right? And we are trying not to get thrown into the lake of fire, right? Well, let's see who's in and who's out. Are the people that's outside trying to follow the law, statutes, and commandments? Or is it the people that's inside that's trying to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments? Well, let's take a look. And you can probably see it on the screen. This is Revelations chapter 22. So this is at the end of the book. The very last chapter. Well, no, this isn't the very last chapter of the book. I take it back. Oh, no, it is 22. Yes, 22. Very last chapter of the book. Now, let's go back. Let me pull this up. Very last chapter, chapter 22. And we're just going here real quick, family, just to see who's in and who's out. Who's in and who's out. So let's see. let's go back up to, let's see here. Bear with me just for a second. Let's see here. Hold on. All right. So verse 15 is where we want to go. But I'm trying to, let me give you some context instead of just starting at 15. And yeah, let's start at verse 12 for context. So it says, and this is, of course, is in red. So this is our Messiah speaking. So verse 12, this is Revelations 22, verse 12 reads, and it says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. So this is the Messiah, right? And it says, to give every man according to his work shall be. I am the Alpha, or I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that what? Do his commandments. Family, this is in the back of the book, the last chapter of the book. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that why? It says that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. What city is that, family? It's the kingdom, the city of the Most High, the city that Yahusha will, Yahusha, some people will say Yahushua or Yahusha will rule over. But you can see it here, family. So the people that are in are the ones that follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. It is right there in black and white, family. Blessed are they that do his commandments, verse 14, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Verse 15, for without, now people that outside, now it's going to talk about the people outside the gates. For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers. Those sound like lawbreakers. And murderers. Oh, that's somebody that breaks the law. Idolaters. That's somebody that breaks the law. And whoever loveth and maketh a lie. Well, that's somebody that breaks the law too. It says, I, Yahusha, have sent mine angel to testify unto these things in the churches. So this is the Messiah sending his angels, these heavenly beings, into the assemblies to testify to this fact. To testify to this fact. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. Hallelujah. Now, like I said, everyone has their own scriptures that they like to go to, but that is the one that I like to point our brothers and sisters to. Like I said, keep it simple. Who's in and who's out? Who's in the kingdom and who's out? To me, it looks like, according to this, that according to verse 15 or 14, blessed are they that do his commandments. To me, it appears that the law keepers are the ones that's inside. Now, you have to understand history, family. This is why I love going into history, because when you look at the history, you will understand why to this very day, we, unfortunately, when we came out of slavery, how we were taught not to teach or not to pursue the law, statutes, and commandments. You have to know that the religions, the teachings that we have today were taught to us by our slave masters. And we have to do what's called a paradigm shift and go and learn for ourselves. Shout out to those brothers who have gone to seminary schools. I know it's a tough road to go by and you have to study. I know my dad went down that road as well. But I got to tell you, family, at the end of the day, you are learning from the wrong people, especially if they're telling you to do the one thing that's going to keep you out of the kingdom. You heard the old saying, look, you got one job. You got one job. And, don't do that one thing, family. All right. Well, let's keep going, family. Like I said, I just want to get to some news that's happening in our community and around our community, or that's impacting our community. And believe it or not, a lot of the stuff that Candace Owens is doing is impacting our community, whether you are aware of it or not. But like I said, the Candace Owens thing isn't the only news or things that are impacting our community. So like I just showed you, that there is a initiative on social media, it appears, against our community. So you might be looking at the news and thinking, well, sure, they got that $7,000 a pop. That's not impacting us. Well, I don't have hardcore proof, but what I can tell you is that starting in November, all of a sudden we started having these videos and social media initiatives against our community. So something happened. So it looks like somebody's getting paid, right? So just keep your eyes and ears open, family. If you're on TikTok or if you're on Instagram or anything like that, just know that it is out there. And if you are content creators, feel free to put some alternative truths out there. Put your own videos out there. And most high willing, family, we will have some amazing, awesome announcements this Sunday. I believe, it's this Sunday. So just stay tuned for that. I'm going to have Moray Dwayne, most high willing, on the platform. I'm going to talk about some things that's going to be available. And this is like next level stuff. And as a community, I really hope that we get behind it. All right. Well, anyway, let's keep going, family. So, of course, those folks that are coming against our community, they say that, Black Hebrew Israelites, I'm just using their terms, so don't get mad, but they say Black Hebrew Israelites, they're evil, right? They're trying to use this law stuff. They're trying to obey. They're trying to be obedient to the Most High Yah, but they shouldn't do that. And then, in these same videos, they say things like, oh, and you guys are trying to make Jesus to be a black man. Jesus is not a black man. We saw that with Pastor Anthony Phillips. I'm out of Atlanta, so he's in Atlanta as well. So Pastor Anthony Phillips talked about the same thing. He said that Jesus was not a black man. And, there's some unfortunately, there's a lack of understanding when it comes to history, when people don't know that the oldest picture of what people would call Jesus was or is a black man. In the oldest picture, I literally have the oldest picture in a book called Who Are the Biblical Israelites? Go and check that out, family. Who are the biblical Israelites? I literally went and grabbed the oldest pictures of what folks would call Jesus. He is a black man, not white. And it's only after centuries had passed, is it only after the Roman Empire took the reins over the church, that you then see a Romanized version of Jesus, or a Romanized version of Yahushua. But let me have this brother explain it to you.
Your skin color before Jesus. If we're the ones who idolizing skin, tell them, put a black Jesus up. You got to stop putting your skin color before Jesus. You're idolizing your race. What? So because I'm proud of being a black man and speak against racist ideologies, I'm putting skin before my savior? Why are we the only somebody that are asked to eliminate our racial and ethnic identity in order to be saved? How are we putting skin before the savior? Let's talk about westernization, Europeanization, Hellenization, Romanization, Americanization of biblical characters. Jesus is white. The disciples are white. The angels are white. Heaven is white. Moses is portrayed by Charleston Heston. Cleopatra is portrayed by Elizabeth Taylor. Sunday school literature, every character white, but everything black is demonized. Stock market crash, Black Friday, black mark, black sheep. And even now when we get married, the bride wears a white dress. I'm sick of it. We have allowed them to shape our theology. The next wedding I want to see a bride come down here with a midnight black dress with black stockings, black shoes. I want to see it black.
Was he right? Is he right? Or was he speaking truth? Yeah, fair use, and also fair use on this next one. So check this one out, family.
Different between black and whites, and ain't every one of you, just telling you the truth. I love white Jesus. I love her. I'm never in my life looked at white Jesus and blamed white Jesus for slavery. How many of y'all were Christian, you blame white Jesus? How many of y'all, you kind of had a little kind of disregard for white Jesus because he was white? Man, we love white Jesus. We ain't care nothing about his color. We love.
Now, he's speaking some truth to power on this one. I mean, Moray is speaking truth to power on this one. Because, I mean, if you think about it, family, throughout all these years, when we were going to church on Sunday morning, we really didn't think two thoughts about Jesus. I know, at least I didn't. I can only speak for myself about Jesus being white, right? That wasn't a thing. right? Until we became aware that, wait a minute, no, there's some verses in this Bible that talks about him being, something other than white. I mean, there's even, indirect verses in the very beginning of the Bible when it talked about, the skin and certain diseases and spots being in the skin, that the only way for that verse to be right or true is the person's skin had to be dark. Because it literally said, if you see a white spot in the skin. So the only way that you can have a white spot in the skin is for your skin to not be white. But anyway, I know we're deviating just a little bit, but I just want to let you know, family, that this thing, the thing about us being black is throughout the Bible, is throughout the scriptures. And so, of course, part of the awakening is rereading the scriptures and pulling out the truth and throwing away the lies. And what Moray's talking about is that even when we didn't know that, he's using the word Jesus, I use Yahusha, even though we didn't know that Yahusha was dark melanated, we still loved him. We still went to church. We still sang those songs, right? But it's only when we try to turn it back to what it's supposed to be is when we get the pushback.
That the fact of what he did, we didn't care he resembled the same people that raped, maimed, and lied and stole land and property. We care less about that. We looked at the salvation point. As soon as you turn around and find out he black, then you got all the night. You want to fight it.
Yep.
They good as long as he white. They don't tell the truth. As long as he white, they good.
They good.
So when they say, what's the color? What color got to do with it? That's what we've been saying.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what we said. We love white Jesus.
Yep.
Every time I look around, we always get the pun of their jokes or stuff. We were good with white Jesus. Grandmama prayed to him. Granddaddy served him on the deacon board. We loved him. We just looked at deliverance. We didn't care what color people were. We were going to heaven to white Jesus. We just wanted to be saved. So you show it black. Well, we need to go back further and look at other stuff. Every time this song come up, every time reflect up, they want to change it. They know the truth. They're not fair. You're not fair. Everything become question. Then they got to go do some more researching. Why you didn't research when he was white? You know it didn't make sense. What other words mean? Soon as he gets some color on it. Soon as a man gets some shade, they lose it. Everything become questionable now. There's other way to skin the cat and other way to go. Cat was fine before when he was white, though. There ain't but one way to skin the cat when he was white. Folks need to stop it, man. It's been about salvation for me. I don't care what color. He come at me green, gold, and yellow.
That's right.
I just want to be saved.
Yes, sir.
Hate to go somewhere and look like we in charge.
Yep. That's right.
They the truth. They didn't tell the truth. They don't go nowhere. We in charge.
That's true. Yep.
Trump, he the exact person to show. Everybody black with some position. What they do? They hate seeing us in charge.
They hate it.
They no tell the truth. Your white skin, your philosophy have hurt you.
Yep.
We love him. Man, that white man fall down the ground. We look at man and say, man, we want to get him up. That's a human being.
That's right. That's right.
Shoot. Set that house on fire. Black man run and put his house out. Woman sat in here, raised your kid and film. She could have either took the same knife and cut your baby's throat.
Sir. That's right.
She looked at it. No way, Dave, she could be right if she did that. Baby. She said, I can't blame that baby for him.
That's right. That's right.
I can't blame that baby on her.
That's right.
And you blame me.
Yep.
You blame us. You're not fair.
Not fair.
These white people tell the truth. Y'all know y'all ain't been fair.
That's right.
No, they ain't been fair.
That's right.
Every time we got a cow tie, we got a baby you, pat you to try to get you to stop and do something. When you do it for us?
That's right.
Yeah, he Pastor speaking some truth. Fair use. Thank you. Big shout out. Peace and blessings, Ema Saul. Peace and blessings, everyone that's in the chat. But he's speaking truth. He's speaking truth. And it's the same to this day. I mean, to this very day. But when it comes to a lot of like even our black initiatives, not only just like he was just talking about the Bible and the Savior, right? But believe it or not, even our what folks would call our black initiatives were actually not black. They weren't black. They were whitewashed as well. What do you mean by that, Brother Benaiah? Well, let me show you something real quick. I might pop back to Pastor Little. Well, let me let him finish because he's almost finished with his explanation. So let's do that. I don't want to cut him off.
Come on, well, if I wouldn't need no well if you'd have gave me my water. Ain't that right? My fare would have been all right.
That's right.
I took care of my own affairs.
That's right.
Take my water and talk about no well fare. Ain't that right? Abraham dug 3 wells. In the one that was in Shamron, they're going to tell you no Samaritan, no good. I don't know about no good Samaritan. The name of the place is Shamron. How that do no Samaritan? That's when a white man come and help out and took everything else you got. He come back and took all your money. And he come back and loan you a nickel. Had $100 a month payment over 50 years. Compounded interest daily. At least I gave your stuff back. That's the philosophy of them. So I made a fool out of it. Now you want to stand up in your own pride and beat nobody. I try to come back. I try to restore dignity back down people.
Yes, sir.
I keep it straight with everybody, black or white. Somebody black do something wrong. That junk don't get me because don't move me because you black.
That's right.
You're white, you're wrong. I tell you, you're wrong.
That's right.
Yep. Just treat people as people, regardless of color, regardless of skin color. Hallelujah. But he speak, like I said, family, he's speaking about the whitewashing of that we see in the scriptures, in the Bible. And then when we try to turn it back, that's when we get all the pushback. Why you guys got the skin doctrine? Why are you talking about Jesus being black? It shouldn't matter, right? Even though we're trying to put the truth back in the Bible to the scriptures, but they just want to hang on to that lie, right? But the thing is, family, we know that the whitewashing, it wasn't just relegated to the Bible. The whitewashing, believe it or not, was embedded and it actually controlled our black initiatives. What do you mean, Brother Benaiah? Well, even like the blackest organization that you can think of, the NAACP. You might be thinking about that, saying, man, that's an organization that was started by Negroes, for Negroes, for the purpose of advancing Negroes, of colored people, right? But believe it or not, the NAACP, it wasn't really started the way that you think it was started.
The NAACP, we were taught a lie. Oh, it was founded, Bishop, by Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. That's a lie. Okay? The Spingarn brothers, Khazarian brothers out of Eastern Europe, out of Romania, okay, including a lawyer by the name of Henry Moskowitz, who's a 1/3 degree Mason of the Scottish Rite Order, who was later a member of the British Fabian Secret Society. These men, the Spingarn brothers and Henry Moskowitz, they created the NAACP. Why would they do that, Brother Apollo? We need to create an organization that we can control from behind the scenes. We can be the puppet masters that control where the money goes within the NAACP, SNCC, CORE, Urban League, okay? Every black organization was created by non-black people. When you look again, getting back to Kobe Bryant, who was a proponent of Planned Parenthood. Yeah. I don't understand why would Kobe Bryant be a major supporter of Planned Parenthood? Well, he was not alone. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was assassinated in April 1968, was a boule up until the month before his assassination. He left the boule because that's it. And he was.
All right. So he has, the NAACP is not what you thought it was. And basically what he's bringing out, family, is that the NAACP was started by the Khazars. Let me say that again. He's saying that the NAACP was really started by the Khazars. Well, who are the Khazars? You say, Brother Benaiah? Well, of course, there's some debate about who the Khazars are today, but general consensus is that the Khazars are the ones that are, they're integrated into the Israeli population. They're the ones that come from the Caucasus Mountains, from what used to be the Saracen territory. The Khazarian territory was right over there. Is that territory right above the Caucasus Mountains has gone through a couple of different name changes. It was called the Yamnayas at some point, the Saracens, and then, of course, the territory of the Khazars. And with these Khazarians who fled their territory and moved to the west, they moved over into Europe, and then they became the kings and queens over in Europe, right? They're the ones that are, who are said to be over in the state of Israel today. Mixed in, because they're not what I call a contiguous single DNA forefather people. They're kind of a mixed bag. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that the Khazarians are mixed in with them. And with them being over in Israel, of course, you have folks like Ted Cruz and all these Zionists today. They are the ones that are trying to push that the folks that are over in the state of Israel are the true biblical Israelites. And those of us who believe the Israelites are a dark-skinned, melanated people know that that's not true. However, there are those of us that are melanated that don't know that don't believe that. And in fact, we pledge our allegiance to the ones that are pretending to be us.
I will always be the voice for the people in Israel. I will always stand behind the country of Israel. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather in Israel. I will always be here for you guys when you guys don't have a voice.
Toby be good for massa. Good. Don't send Toby away. Toby be good for you.
Fair use. I can't play too much of that. That one has some music in the background, so hopefully they don't hit me for a copyright. But fair use on that. And I see, it's sad, but that was brother Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest boxers of all time, over there kowtowing and bowing the knee over to a people that are living in, get this family, in his land. There's a people living in his land, and he's pledging to be able to protect them living in his land. Come on now. That's, you can't make that up. But that's why I say, family, because we don't, some of our people don't know who we are. We do some things that I believe when it's all said and done, when we look back on this thing, we are going to be so embarrassed, so repent, just, I don't know, fam, so humble, repentative, right, about it. Because, at first what I used to tell people, I was like, hey, when it comes to this truth, I'm not going to argue with folks about it. Hey, you don't want to be Israel? Because being Israel is a privilege. And of course, nowadays, folks want to be Israel. We got this new thing called spiritual Israel, where you don't necessarily have to be a blood Israelite. You don't have to be going through the curses, because, real Israel is going through the curses. Real Israel is living in the land that they once served as slaves, as captives, but they're not doing that, right? All of a sudden, that doesn't matter anymore. You can just believe that you're Israel and you can become Israel. They'll say that, believe in the Messiah, then you'll become spiritual Israel, although you won't find the words spiritual Israel anywhere in the scriptures. But, that's how they try to misinterpret the scriptures. But in fact, family, so we have, folks that, because of that misconception, that misunderstanding, nowadays we have two groups trying to vie. Well, actually, probably like three groups vying to be biblical Israel. So, of course, you got this new, I want to say, this new movement where people of the church are saying, well, wait a minute, it's the church. The church is Israel. All the promises that were, given to Israel, they're given to us. Well, then you guys should have the curses as well. You should have been thrown into captivity. Is that the case? Because the curses are a sign as to who Israel truly is. If they're not going through those curses that's been placed upon Israel, then, it just shows you that they're not Israel, in my opinion. But anyway, I know we're getting off this. Stay on topic. Try not to get off topic. All right. So like we was talking, I was just showing you Floyd Mayweather bowing the knee to the Khazars. He was bowing the knee to the descendants of the Khazars, not knowing that that is his land. And but I guess you can say that even with all that being done, there are those from our community, even though we may not consider this next person to be from our community, but there are those of our community that are, how can I say, pushing back against these Khazars. And we'll talk about a little bit more about the Khazars. I actually have a slide. I didn't want to bore you all too much with slide presentations, but I do have slides on the Khazars, what the Khazars look like, because I think that's important, especially when we start talking about Candace Owens and the fight that she's having right now with the Khazars. Because of course her friend CK was unalived, and so now she's trying to fight to get to the truth of that. And I believe the Most High is using that situation to take to judge these Khazarians. Because you can see, family, I mean, the scriptures talk about how these descendants of Esau, how they're going to be greatly despised. And sure enough, we see that there's a people right now that are being greatly despised all around the world. And because they have money, they're trying to, use their money and influence to stem the tide. But, they're not going to stem the tide of the Most High's word. The Most High said that they're going to be greatly despised. They are going to be greatly despised. Hallelujah. But let's pull up Miss Candace Owens. Let's pull it up. And let's do this. So basically, like I was saying, fam, so her friend was assassinated, was unalive, and she believes that it was the descendants of Esau, whether or not she knows it or not. She calls them the Khazarians. She does call them, refer to them as the Khazarians. And so she does know that part. So she's fighting them. But as she's fighting them, you can see that, she's starting to transform a little bit. She's starting to come into some knowledge, some truth. And in fact, actually, before I pull that up, let's pull up just for some background, just to get an idea of what Candace is actually fighting for right now. So right now, as she's digging for the truth, one of the revelations that she's really unveiling, the hand of the Khazars, in all of this. And one of the revelations that she did was that she brought on an eyewitness to the supposed secret meeting that took place on this army base just a few days, either the day before. Yeah, I think it was like the day before CK got assassinated. And so what I want to show you, I'm just going to start you off a little bit with just a little bit of his testimony, just so that he can describe the people that he saw. Because remember, the whole theme of this is the Khazars. And like I said, the Khazars have a certain look. The Khazars were blessed with war. The Khazars was blessed with that sword. That's what the Most High blessed them with. So that's how they move. They move in violence. So let's let him describe a little bit about what he saw, and then we'll bring this back around to the Khazars.
So you get to the base, and I want you to address this because there were so many people who were like, there's no way you could have gotten onto the base. Obviously, you sent me your military cards, and I think we can show a picture of that. You get onto the base, and I want you to walk us through what time, and I did show a timeline, but about, you don't have to be perfect here. We already showed a timeline, but like you get to the base and just kind of what's your general mood. And this is on September 8th, the evening of September 8th at the Candlewood Inn and Suites, which you have given me all the documentation for.
Getting into Tucson, there was a little bit of a issue getting the rental car and stuff, so that took a little while, a little bit of a delay, but we made reservations ahead of time for me to be there. And I get down to the base. For those that think that people can't get on base, no, typically you can, as long as you have your
fair use,
your ID, your insurance, and you have a purpose for being there. I certainly did. That's why
you can show that documentation as he's speaking. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we made reservations, and I got to the hotel. It was sort of hard to find, but once I found it, I sort of recognized it because it was that was actually the barracks that I had when I was there, and in AIT training, but they converted it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. All of a sudden, I'm staying in the same barracks. A really nice place, by the way. Wonderful beds. But yeah, I check in, and as I'm doing that, you can tell that there's regular military people, young kids that are there, probably just checking in to post, stuff like that. There were a couple people that stood out, and they're a little bit older, and as I'm checking in, one guy that was sitting on the couch, he just had a sheen to him.
So again, just to add a little bit of context, so he goes back to this. He's going back to this. I guess you can call it a camp or this post that he used to be at. He's trying to get some information, and so he's back out there. And as he's checking in, he's noticing his environment. He's noticing some people around him. So right now, he's describing one of the people that he notices, and then he's going to describe another person that's going to be accompanying the person that he just noticed.
Looked like he had a professional military sheen to him. If I had to guess, being a special forces guy, I would have guessed that he's ex-special forces, probably doing, something down there, probably contract. He was definitely waiting on something. And
age about, just so we can get a description, age.
I'd say 33 to 40, about there, give or take. I wasn't there to check out people or check ID cards. I just happen to know him. And veterans, especially SF guys, when you notice somebody like that, I almost had the impression, so much so that I was going to go up and ask him what group he was with and say hi and thank him for his service. I didn't really get that chance. So as I'm checking in and then I go to my room and then come back out, he was joined and joined by a female that you can definitely tell when, how do you put it, when people are well off and they're dressing down. She was definitely dressing down, and it was very well kept. The one thing I noticed about the woman that really stuck out to me was her eyes. And I have an ex that has caused me a lot of problems. So when I see someone with striking blue eyes like that, they stick out. And so when I see someone with striking blue eyes like that, they stick out. And
so when I see someone with striking blue eyes like that, they stick out. And
I was on the phone with my wife here, and I even told her about it. I said, "Oh, geez, somebody has those kind of eyes." It creeped me out a little bit, and it had nothing to do with that person. Just, life is what it is. But as I was checking in, I was going to go back and actually talk to that person, the guy, and between me at the front desk and then going back to my room one time and then coming back out, I was going to go to dinner. They had gotten into, there was a vehicle parked out front, big green truck. It looked like a real shiny GSA type.
Now, just to interject here for a moment, because he did mention a couple of things, just want to point out. So just to reiterate, he saw the person in the lobby, and then he also saw a woman join him. And he said the thing that, that struck him was that she had these blue eyes. She had these blue eyes. And it's like I said, it's funny because, of course, in this series, Candace has talked about the Khazarians and stuff like that, not only in this video, but in other videos. But I think the thing that, maybe she may not know about, and actually, let me see if I can pull this up real quick, and we'll hop back over to to the video. So let me see if I can do a share screen. And I might actually let you see my PowerPoint slide. Let's do this here. All right. I'm not going to make it full screen, but I'll just zoom in some on this one. But this is, I had done this presentation about the blue eyes. So you may not know, family, but blue eyes is a telltale sign of the Khazars. I'll say it again. Blue eyes is a telltale sign of the Khazars. It's funny because we venerate, I say we, but just in general, Hollywood venerates the blue eyes in film. Most of your, just kind of generalizing, your Hollywood stars, they have blue eyes. Just if you go back and watch, just check out the number of stars, movie stars that have blue eyes. Not knowing that blue eyes is the telltale sign of the Khazars. Not only is it the telltale sign of the Khazars, it is because it is literally a mutation. It is a eye mutation, like a gene mutation, which causes the blue eyes. And it is a gene mutation that appears to have come from the Neanderthals, especially the one that lived near the Khazars. Miss Miskaya site. It's kind of going off the top of the dome on that one. But what you see on the screen, let me read this out to you. It says, the Neolithic revolution occurred between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago. And because people were better able to procure a steady source of food, make sure I'm not on mute, the population increased significantly. The technologies which emerged during this time allowed archaeologists and researchers to track cultural migration from the northwestern part of the Black Sea region, where the first humans with blue eyes lived, the Khazars. So the first humans that had the blue eyes lived in the territory of the Khazars. That's why this is a telltale sign. You walk on somebody that has these bright blue eyes, that is a telltale sign that they have a gene which originated from the Khazars. Let me finish this this section here. Just says, let me just read the whole sentence again. It says, the technologies which emerged during this time allowed archaeologists and researchers to track cultural migration from the northwest part of the Black Sea region, where the first humans with blue eyes lived, into the rest of Europe. A study of the Armenian haplotypes determined hospitable climate conditions in the geographic position of the Armenian highland suggests that it may have served as a conduit for several waves of expansion of the first agriculturalists from the Near East to Europe and the North Caucasus. People migrated out of the Caucasus, modern-day Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, and into other parts of Europe. So like I was saying, that they moved from there over into Europe. So a lot of these people with blue eyes moved from the territory of the Khazars over into Europe. And it says, check this out, family. It says just some facts about these blue eyes. And it says, what is the future of blue eyes? It says, at the turn of the 20th century, 50% of people living in the United States had blue eyes. What? So a lot of these blue-eyed people actually were these progenitors of certain groups over in the US. Now, however, people are more likely than ever to marry outside of their ethnic group, leading to more genetically diverse offspring and a decline in blue eyes due to the dominance of brown-eyed genes. Currently in the US, only 17% of the population, 1 in 6, has blue eyes, and only between 5 and 8% of the people worldwide possess the trait. So again, blue eyes, it's like you see 5 to 8% or 17% in the US. It is a telltale sign of a certain people. Then it says, how do we know all blue-eyed people are related? Homo sapiens, modern humans, emerged around 200,000 years ago in Africa, but the mutation that caused blue eyes did not appear until sometime around 10,000 years ago. In a study conducted by Professor Hans Eberg and a team from the University of Copenhagen, researchers examined the mitochondrial DNA from 155 blue-eyed subjects from Denmark, 2 from Jordan, 5 from Turkey, 45 brown-eyed Candace, looking at the loci, specific location or position of a gene responsible for brown or blue eyes. It says the result was the discovery that more than 97 H1 haplotype, a group of genes within an organization that was inherited together from a single parent. In other words, these blue-eyed people, 97% of them come from one person. They have a shared parent. Eberg and his team write a shared haplotype among blue-eyed individuals is almost perfect and suggests the blue color haplotype is caused by a founder mutation. This means that the vast majority of people with blue eyes share a single inherited gene or genetic mutation rather than each person with blue eyes possessing a unique mutation. The study also tests 7 blue-eyed Mediterranean individuals unrelated to Danish participants as a controlled group. They too carry the H1 haplotype. These individuals with H1 haplotype all inherited the same switch at the same location in their genetic code. So basically, they had the same mutation in their genes, which caused the blue eye. Again, fam, like I said, all this comes from the same people. All this comes from the same person. It comes from the same person. This person was in the Caucasus Mountains that lived in caves. This person was a Khazarian. He was a Scythian, and he was a Yamnaya person. Now, there's a lot that we know about the people that have these blue eyes, that had the blue eyes back during the ancient times. So during the time of the Khazars, during the time of the Scythians, we know what these people were or who they were. And let me see if I have a slide here. I just grabbed some slides here, family. Let me see if I may not have it. Let me see. Just bear with me just for a second, fam. I just want to see if I got, I think this is it. I'm looking for the one with Tacitus. I have a one with Tacitus. This might be a good one to read. Let's see. It says the Khazars emerged from the Scythians. Just want to show you that the Khazars are related to the Scythians. The Khazars may be divided into 4 main groups. Those who originated south of the Caucasus, such as from Armenia, Azerbaijan area, north of the Caucasus associated with the Huns. Skipping down to the next one, chapter 2. Khazars ruled over these regions before the Muslim area. Armenia was linked with a northern entity of Edom, Syria, and the land of Uz. All right, so it's associated with Edom, Syria, and the land of Uz. And here we have, this talks about the people of the Khazars, just far, far beyond the mountains of darkness. Now, this reminds me of, you ever watched the Lord of the Rings? Mordor, the mountain of Mordor, right? Where you had all the orcs and stuff like that. Well, they had this place that was right near the Khazar mountains. Like the Caucasus Mountains had this, it were impassable because they had all these peaks, right? But then they had this one pass that went through it, right? Kind of like I said, kind of like Lord of the Rings type stuff. And the thing back then was that they had all these rumors about these people that lived beyond the mountain and that they were a terror and stuff. But these people had blue eyes. But let's read about this. Let's just read a little bit of this. Let me see if I can save you some of this information here. Let's drop down to the second one. It was there starting in the 13th century that the belief developed that somewhere beyond the Caucasus live the peoples of Gog and Magog. Oh, so now we're talking about some Bible stuff. Gog and Magog, the feared northern barbarians first mentioned by the prophet Ezekiel, who had prophesied that they would be humbled by God's wrath when they attempted to conquer the land of Israel, thus ushering in the Messianic age. German Christians identified Gog and Magog with the lost tribes, believed they were the forces of the Antichrist, and called them De Roti Judean because they were pictured as red-headed and red-bearded. So one thing to take away from is that they had red hair and red beards. It says one day it was feared that they would seek to cross the mountains of the Caucasus, behind which they were contained and overwhelmed in Europe. All right. So just to kind of recap, family. So the reason why I'm reading this information to you is because I want to show you the description of the Khazarians. You've probably heard folks like either Candace talk about it or some of these other folks talk about the Khazars. But what I want you to know is that the Khazars had a look. The Khazars had a look about them. They were known to have a certain trait. And this is from Tacitus, right? This is the one I was looking for. So Tacitus, in talking about the same people, red hair was one of it. And it says, hence too, the same physical peculiarities throughout so vast a population. So he's talking about this, this look, throughout this vast population, they all had the same look. It says all, not some, it says all have fierce blue eyes, red hair, huge frames, fit only for a sudden exertion. This is Tacitus. They had the same look, family. Blue eyes, red hair. Blue eyes, red hair. And if you're wondering what area I'm talking about this area right here. So the blue eyes originated right around here. And you can see that word, Ashkenaz. You see that word, Magog, Gomer. So this is where blue eyes originated from. So when we were looking at the video where Mitch, I believe the gentleman's name was Mitch, and he was saying, it's like, man, so I can't forget eyes like that. That those are striking eyes. He said they creep me out. Well, that's because those eyes are associated with the Khazars. They're associated with Gog and Magog, and they were associated with a fierce people. They were associated with a fierce people. So knowing that, let's hop back over to our video that the gentleman was explaining that he ran into this lady. She had blue eyes, and like I said, that's a telltale sign of who she is, of what gene she has. She has that trait from the Khazars. She has a Khazarian trait. The Khazarians are known for war, being a warlike people. But what did this lady do?
And yeah, they were getting into that vehicle and driving off. And that night I went to dinner at some a little bit crazy. The people in Sierra Vista, they can probably verify there was a Mexican sushi place in Sierra Vista. So I got dinner and it was a pretty good place actually. And then I came back and went to sleep that night. Got up early the next morning, wanted to see the sunrise, reminisce about, yeah, there we go. Just reminisce about having been there a long time ago. And even stopped to talk to some of the police. They tried to give me directions to CID, but the buildings there are they're sort of old World War II, and they're also built on top of the foundations of like almost Alamo era rocks and stuff, and some of them aren't really well marked. So his direction sort of led me off on a wild goose chase.
And I'll interject here while you're having a sip of water that this is when you accidentally take a video and it's 18 minutes long while this guy's giving you directions, which you've sent everything over. So there's no question you were here and everything happened because you tried to document this thinking you were going to get some justice from the past. And I will let you continue telling the story.
Yeah, I was there to get help. And I was really figuring some people would have, have some answers for me. I couldn't find CID, but as I'm wandering around, and I finally decided, I need to get some coffee and wake up, maybe have a little breakfast. I noticed that there's some signs there that say JTF and JTF headquarters. I went into a couple of the buildings. There was nobody there yet, so I continued on. I went and got coffee, ran into some 10th Mountain people there. They said they were there for JTF. We sort of talked. I bought them coffee, I think, for their service. I asked where there would be a headquarters that I could go to speak to someone. They tried to explain it to me. I forget, they gave me a building name, and I don't necessarily we don't want to disclose that kind of stuff, but I went right back to the front gate, and as I came in, as they scanned me in with my ID card, I asked the gate guard there, where would this building be, and how would I get there? He gave me detailed instructions on how to get there, how to wind around to get to that building, and so I did, and it was obviously a temporary setup for this new command down there. There was no gate guard. There was, I think they did have some barbed wire around the field and the building, which made me hesitate for a second, but it was a parking lot. So I just went in and parked. I was on the phone with my missus here and told her, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they say here, and I'll call you in a few. I ended up not being able to call it back for about 7 hours. And you can, being in the military for a while, you notice when there's a lot of high-ranking people around, and you notice when there's a little bit of a buzz. And I walked in there. I didn't know if this was just a new type of army that I haven't seen for a while. But I walked up to the front desk. I sort of told him what I wanted. I initially talked to one captain for about 5 minutes, and then he stepped back out. He was going to go get someone. I stood there at the front, and as I did, the guy that I thought was an ex-SF guy, he had walked out from wherever it was, and he was sort of walking out to the front doors, and he stood there for a while waiting. And then 3 more people came around, civilian dressed, and one, he looked like a congressman, had the pin, had the flag, congressman's suit, and there were a couple of people next to him, and obviously they were trying to talk to him, and they were sort of palling around, but it was also sort of serious, and some of the military lieutenant colonels there and the unit sergeant major escorted them out. They got into one of the GSA's. For anybody in the military that knows about GSA, they own everything in the government.
Could you, for those of us who don't know about this GSA, just to break it down for us, I'm sorry to be so ignorant. What does that stand for?
No. What was it? Government Services Administration, or
okay.
I forget what it is.
No.
All right. Again, I know it's going on for a little bit, family, but just to give you some a little bit more context here. So this is, I believe this is the day before CK gets assassinated. He's in this building and he's trying to get some paperwork, some information that he's looking for. And, after a while, he's going to get detained. And then while he gets detained, eventually he'll be released. But then once he's released and he starts to see all the information about CK, then he starts to recognize some of the people.
What they basically maintain all the property for the federal government.
Okay.
So if you're in the military or if you're in the federal government and you need a vehicle, basically you go to one of the GSA places, and it's like renting a vehicle at Enterprise or something, but you have orders attached to it. Some of those vehicles they're reserved at any GSA where they have VIPs that come in. For those in the know, they keep a reserve set of vehicles, and they're extra shiny. They're like new off the lot. Their tires aren't worn very well. So they all got into one of those vehicles and they left. The sergeant major came back in. Him and I was teasing him about his tabs and how he didn't have his long tab, and I think he had a Ranger tab and airborne. Or no, he didn't have airborne. He had air assault. Anyway, I was teasing him about some of that. Was supposed to go back and talk to him. I was finishing signing in when, a couple more captains came around the corners and they escorted me way out. They wanted to take me out of the building. I thought I was getting arrested, and I didn't know what I had done wrong. I'd given my name, the missions I had been attached to. I given the purpose why I was there. And I was very polite about it. I was trying to be discreet as possible. And I had no idea what I was walking into. Obviously, when congressmen are around, there's something special going on. But yeah, they escorted me out across the parking lot to the park benches there. And one of the captains there, his name was Captain Neff. Nice guy. And I started telling him my story, what I'm telling you, and what I was there for. Yes, that's the guy. Real decent gentleman. And as we sat there, the other captain went in, was going to get the sergeant major, and I don't know exactly what happened, but before long, there was a bunch of cruisers pulling up. There were police officers from different levels of the government. I couldn't tell you all the different types of law enforcement that were there surrounding me, and sort of putting up a wall between me and the front door. I did catch that there was yet another, I don't know if it was the same GSA vehicle returning or a different one, but that did pull up to the building. I couldn't see who got in it. And it ended up sort of a big deal. They kept interrogating me, trying to gaslight me, ask me what I was there for, like I was some sort of a spy. And then they mentioned a bomb threat. They wanted to check my vehicle. Mentioned that because I was in special forces, obviously I must be some sort of a bomb threat. And for me, I just figured this had to be some sort of the false flagging that I've encountered from before. Some sort of residual effect from that.
So you're just thinking, this has got something to do. This has been 35 years running. The government's corrupt. It's all about me fighting this cartel tunnel, and this is just going to be the story of my life, never getting any justice. That's what's going through your mind.
And at this point, people in the government start pointing guns at me. My house has been squatted and stuff like that. I just roll my eyes. I literally.
Sorry.
I was just throwing my car keys. They wanted my car keys. I chucked it over. I said, if you don't mind, park it closer because my bones are getting old and it hurts. I don't want to walk that far.
So sad.
So Captain Neff was really nice. And I asked him what this was about. He tried to shrug it off and say he didn't know. There was another lady that seemed to be conducting what this overreaction was. And she was definitely, she was in plain clothes, undercover, big sunglasses, Hispanic woman. If I had to guess, probably Secret Service or something like that. She didn't want to approach me directly. She was directing how other people would approach me and ask me questions, get my documents, stuff like that. Eventually, they said, "Okay, we're going to take you to another location." They took me to. They finally showed me where the CID building was, I guess. Put me in there, and they recorded me for a while. Asked me a few questions, and they were very, very concerned about the next 24 hours. Like they wanted to make sure, I don't know, maybe that I wasn't there for some other purpose or related to something. It was pretty odd. They didn't answer any of the questions I was there for. They didn't give me the documentation they wanted. They did give me a report number to go ahead and you went ahead and I gave that to you.
You did.
We'll see what that says. But yeah, they were looking for any excuse to try and hold me up for like 24 hours. And that 24-hour number kept getting repeated by them. And then eventually they didn't have anything to hold me. I wasn't a harm to myself or others. I wasn't there to, spy on anybody. I really just wanted to get records and get out of that desert. As reminiscent as it was, the place creeps me out a little bit. So, yeah, once they said you have to stay off base for 24 hours, don't worry about it, I ain't coming back. Got to Tucson, stayed the night there in a hotel. Never got a refund on my Candlewood suites.
So again, family, I know it's kind of dragging on a little bit, but just want to give you some context, just to kind of show you what's leading up to this, huge revelation that he's going to point out here at the end. So just wanted to, again, just give you some context, show you that, he was there for a totally different reason. He was at this base, just so happened to run across some people, right? Saw some faces, saw some people, saw some characteristics, those blue eyes we were talking about before. And, so he's on his way home, or he's already home, or, I guess he's home or on his way home. But once he gets there, he's going to, start recognizing some folks that were associated with the CK assassination. And again, we'll tie this all into, what this means for us.
Yeah, got on the plane, and before we touched down, I had a stop off in Salt Lake City. By the time we wheeled down, we got the news about Charlie Kirk, and of course that's been just all over the news. Everybody's watching it, and I don't think anybody's believing what the federal government's saying about it for sure. But what I noticed, I don't know these people from TPUSA. Never been associated. I could recognize Charlie Kirk probably. But what I started seeing come across got more familiar once I saw a picture of somebody in a ponytail with those eyes. That was that person. They were there.
When I came across somebody with those eyes, that was that person. She was there. So again, he's talking about the blue eyes, the telltale sign of the Khazarians, right? And this is just to reiterate, this is, let me see here. Oh, hang on a second, fam. I have to remove this from the stage, add that back to the stage just to show you. Again, and it's proven using DNA, genetically, that all the blue eyes people have a single common ancestor, or, we say all, but it's really 97%, right? 97% have a single common ancestor, and that they originate from the Caucasus Mountains. They originate from the territory of the Khazars. So it's funny because people always talk about the Khazars and that they're not Khazarians, that they're, believe Erica Kirk says that she's part Israeli, right? But the truth is that she has characteristics, eye colors that comes from the territory of the Khazars. All right, so let's finish this one up here, family. We got a couple of more videos I want to run by you.
And yeah, the head of security there, he was one of the people walking out with the congressman. Now, how would I know that? I just have a gift for recognizing people. And yeah, maybe it's not him. Maybe he has doppelganger, but somebody with the same mannerisms, the same crick in his neck, face, the waxy look on his face, hand gestures, shoulder shrug, gait, approximate height, haircut, definitely walked past me. And
if you had to put it at a percentage that you were looking at Brian Harpole, maybe he's got a brother in the military, who knows, right? Maybe he does have a doppelganger, he's got a twin brother, who knows? And I want to be clear, I can confirm on this podcast live every step of your story in terms of where you went, what time you were there, that there was this big meeting that happened. I confirmed the location with other people that are on Fort Huachuca currently. I can confirm everything with metadata. I obviously can't confirm that you saw who you say you saw. If you had to put it at a percentage that you saw Brian Harpole, what percentage would you put it at?
95.
95%. Okay.
So 95% that the day before he saw Brian Harpole, who is the head security guy of Charlie Kirk's team, right? He's the head security person, or the person over the security for CK during that event in Utah.
95 to 99. I mean, when I saw him, on the interview with his face and gestures, with that photo, it struck me in my gut. I blew it off until there was, some other pictures that came up with other people.
What other people? Other pictures?
If you want me to say, there's a picture of Erica Kirk with a ponytail, and from her past. That person matches who I saw at Fort Huachuca in the lobby the night before, and she was with that man in the lobby, and that man, he was present at that meeting the next morning.
So this was one of the big revelations during this interview. And that is, so basically what he's saying is that the night before, or I'm sorry, the 2 days before, when he was in the hotel in this, secret base, right, that he saw two people. He saw Brian Harpole, the, CK's, Charlie Kirk's head security guy in this secret meeting. And he also saw his wife. Let that sink in. He also saw CK's wife. And of course, the thing about CK's wife, she has these eyes like we were talking about. It's a very unique trait. It's a very unique characteristic. 17% of the people in the US have that trait. And that trait, like we were talking about, goes back to the Khazars. It's a recessive gene. So it's a recessive gene myth. All right, so let's keep going.
You had to put it at a percentage that you saw that the girl in the ponytail matches the description of Erica Kirk. What percentage would you put that at?
Those are really rare eyes. That's 95 to 99%. I can't imagine somebody else.
I can't imagine somebody else. Now, I'm just going to pull this one off the screen just for a moment, family, because I have to show you this because, I did leave off some context as well because, with the, leading up to this event, leading up to this interview earlier in the week, you probably heard about, the internet was a buzz, mainstream media was a buzz about Erica, Kirk, and Candace having a meeting. I believe it was either on Monday or Tuesday. I think it was on Monday. Let's see, what was the 15th? I think it was on the 15th. Yeah, the 15th was Monday. So on Monday, Erica Kirk flies down. It just seems like just out of the blue, she ends up flying down to see Candace when, at first they were saying, well, hey, Candace, if you want to have a meeting, you got to come to TPU, Turning Point's headquarters, have it on site, instead of doing it virtually. They insisted that she come down there in person. She said that she couldn't make it. They was like, oh, well, then we're going to just do this live broadcast and refute all your lies, right? And then, of course, Candace said that she was going to do her counter, a show, where she watches them and kind of counters whatever narratives that they put out, right? Or whatever false truths that they put out. She was going to set the record straight. Well, it seemed like, that was the trajectory that everyone was moving towards, but then something happened. Something happened to cause them to course correct and to cause, Erica to make a beeline down there to where Candace was, to try to do some talking face to face, right? Talk face to face. And of course, I'm sure Candace is withholding some cards there as far as, what exactly was the catalyst to that, but I'm sure she'll review that in time. But in any case, Erica Kirk gets down there. They talk, they supposedly exchange some information. Some of the information that was exchanged was kind of, the internet didn't like it. I'll just put it to you that way, because especially like the way Candace explained it, she's like, well, Erica asked me that, did I actually have a physical copy of the message that Charlie Kirk said when he said that they were when he said that somebody was going to unalive him, that he felt that his life was in danger. And Candace said, no. She's like, I got that, from a third party. And she said, well, we have it. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. We have it. And it said the left was going to unalive me, And of course, a lot of people on the internet were kind of turning up twisting their lips like, man, get out of here with that stuff. We don't trust you. We don't trust anything you provide to the public, because so far they've been caught in so many lies. But in any event, that meeting occurred. Then Erica goes back to wherever, and they're going to, I think that there's like a Turning Point event that they have. But then, folks was giving Candace some grief because they felt as though that she had kind of eased up on the gas a little bit, right? Kind of eased up on the pursuit of truth. But what it turned out, family, that wasn't the case, because just a few days later, Candace drops this mega video with this gentleman, this whistleblower, saying that he not only saw Charlie Kirk's head of the security in the secret meeting days before and the day before, and his wife was also there. So that was, folks was just falling out of their chairs, right, when that happened. And the internet, I was going through some of the comments. Let me see if I can pull this up, family, because I just thought that this was one of the best comments that was out there. Yeah, let me see. Did I close? Hopefully I didn't close my all right, hang on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add it back to my screen here. Hang on one second. I'm gonna see if I can add my PowerPoint slide back. And let's add this one. Just gonna put it up here just for a second, family. Just want to show you this comment that somebody put out. So this was a comment on that video, and this person's just kind of just breaking down what just happened, because the old switcheroo just happened. It said Mitch tells her he saw Erica. So this is, Mitch was the guy that was talking, right? That said, he saw Erica and them. But he's just kind of recapping what happened. Said Mitch tells her he saw Erica. Candace sits on that information. Candace meets with Erica face to face. Floods of people denounce Candace as a credible investigator with a soft spot for Erica. Then it says, Erica thinks she has fooled Candace. Candace has her live interview with Mitch, where they name drop Erica, Candace is a gangster. So I just thought that was like one of the best quotes that was out there. I think, yeah, 4,000 thumbs up on that one. But yeah, so yeah, she was still playing chess on that one, family. She wasn't playing anything else but chess. All right, so but let's finish this one up, family. So Mitch drops the hammer. I don't like to say the B word, but he drops the hammer and says it was Erica that he saw that was there. He's 95 to 99% or 97 to 99. Forgot what he said. 97% sure that it was her. So think about that, family. Think of what that implies. That his own wife, possibly, if this is true, that his own wife planned for his unaliving. Man, those blue eyes, I'm telling you, family, that's cold. That is cold, cold, cold. There with his security guy. It's one thing if it was the security guy, right? Because people can say, well, hey, these people from the outside were plotting his demise. But the moment that you introduce his wife as being possibly part of the, of this potentially wicked scheme, family, I can't explain the family. It's like it just goes into a whole new level of deviousness, and judgment that is going to be due when this comes around. Because I mean, it's wrong on all sorts of levels. Like even if you don't even agree with what's going on, but potentially you have, these Khazarians that are manipulating, these, whether it's government officials or whoever, and they are literally plotting against, who we call Americans here in this country. I'm just looking back. I think when we look back on this, 5 years from now, that this will be like one of the most examples of high treason in this country. But anyway, all right, but let's keep going. Let's go. Like I said, I don't want to keep you up too late. So that was the big drop on that one. And of course, when that came out, folks at Turning Point were upset. Candace is on this journey, of trying to find the truth. And as she's going through it, family, you can tell that being in the fight, as long as she's been in the fight, that it is transforming her. Because I saw some comments in the one or two comments in the chat where people were like, I wonder when Candace is going to come wake up, when she's going to wake up to being who she really is. Because one of the things I like, just like she likes researching people, I like researching people too. And you look at, I believe Candace doesn't know, like, her last name Owens, how that ties back into the Israelites. There is a history there that's associated with Owens, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, but as Candace is going through this journey, I'm telling you, family, it is transforming her. She's transforming into a different person. She's not the same person she was a year ago. I can tell you that, just from somebody from the outside looking in. Definitely not the same person. And in fact, what you're going to see is in this next clip, this is the one that she just did earlier today. But what I want to show you is that, she's going to go back and forth between her and Shapiro, this Shapiro Khazarian, and about, they have a hot, I'll just put it to you this way. Shapiro is living up to the scriptures that talk about how in Amos chapter 1, verse 11, where it says, Thus says Yahuwah, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword and cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. In other words, there's a people out there that have a perpetual hatred for another people. So Candace is having a hard time. Like, she's like, man, why you following me? Why are you following me? Leave me alone. I'm free now. Just leave me alone. But but this Shapiro dude just can't seem to leave Candace alone. And like I said, Candace, she's transforming right in front of our eyes. Check this out.
All right, you guys, happy Friday. Well, I just want to start by saying that it's pretty obvious that Ben Shapiro is terrified. We can all see that now that Charlie Kirk is dead. He seems to be taking multiple stages and demanding an allegiance to Erica Kirk. In fact, it almost seems like he's demanding that nobody inquire further about Erica Kirk. It's odd because Ben had no allegiance to Charlie Kirk when he was alive. So what is it about Charlie's widow in particular that is inspiring his very public nervous breakdown? Personally, I think he knows something about her. That is what I am sensing, that he knows something about Erica Kirk. And every time he speaks, I grow more certain that Israel might be involved with 9/10. So let's keep investigating. Welcome back to Candace. Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying, what is happening? Why is he on this stage? Standing against everything that Charlie believed in. So that's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Wait, what? What did she say? She transforming, family. I bleeped that out as best I could. Now I bleeped it out as best I could, but she's transforming. She's transforming. And I like this comment from my brother here, Travis Daniels. Said, dude, you caping for Candace Owens is not a good look. I like your post. And the reason why I like it is this. When you look at the people that have been the most destructive race against our people in the history of our stay here in America, it is without a doubt, unequivocally, the Khazars, the descendants of Esau. You talk about whether you're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, the unaliving of our people, whether it be through police brutality. Heck, they're even sending I covered this in other videos. They're even sending your police officers, the police officers that police your communities, they're sending them over to Israel to be trained. And then they're sending them back to here because we don't even know what they're teaching them. All we know is that when they come back, they're different. They got a disposition against our community. They unaliving. They putting knees on folks' necks and stuff. That's all we know. But they won't tell us what they did. And they coming back. How many of our people, we got a problem with police officers, police brutality in our community, right? We know that. Literally every single major event, whether you're talking about the massacres that occurred right after the ADL was founded in 1915. I'm sorry, the ADL Khazars were founded in 1915. The very first thing they did, I mean, literally the very first thing they did, like the next month, there are paper clippings of them getting into the film industry. And as soon as they got into the film industry, we have paper clippings of them working with Mutual Films, and Mutual Films was the one that created Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation was responsible for the birth or the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan. And the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan was the catalyst to the greatest massacres in the black communities. Black Wall Street, Red Summer, all over this nation. All goes back to the same people. All goes back to the same people. So I said all that to say this, family, so that when you see somebody going up against the one people that caused you the greatest unaliving, the greatest destruction, right? You don't necessarily have to support it, but you can definitely see the hand of the Most High in this thing. You can. If you can't see that, I'm sorry, family. You just don't know history. So it's not necessarily caping for Candace. It's caping against the one people, the folks that had the blue eyes, the Khazars, who are a mixture of Edomites and folks of Gog and Magog. So you got some Japhethites in there, and you have some Esau folks in there. They're not all one contiguous people. They're a mixture of people. But this mixture of people, and also, this will throw you off, also some folks from the Northern Kingdom are mixed in there as well. This is why some of those old maps of west coast of Africa, you will actually see the sons of Ephraim right on the west coast of Africa, right near the slave coast. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, but like I said, family, don't get lost in the sauce. Always know who your enemy truly is. Sure, Candace has said some stuff that you don't agree with, but you have to know that the stuff that Candace had said, whether it be, talk about George Floyd or whatever, that stuff is incomparable, minuscule to anything that Esau and friends have done to you. So says the scriptures. So says the scriptures. So like I said, I like the comment my brother put out there, but I just had to lamb back on that post, because that's one where we definitely don't need to lose lose sight of who the greater enemy is. I mean, whether it be in Psalms, whether it be in Amos, anywhere in the scriptures, we know who the enemy is. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, family, so Candace is going off on Ben Shapiro. And so as she's going off, she's going to continue to transform before our eyes. So check this out.
And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy.
Now, Candace is going off. She's going off. A right to deceive, a right to, enslave or whatever. And I know that, when people say that, certain communities have enslaved us, they say, well, that's not true. We weren't slave masters. We weren't your majority plantation owners. And it's kind of like one of those things, family, where you have to understand slavery had different players. They had people that drove the ships. They had the plantation owners that, whipped the folks over here. And they had, all these different folks. They had the people that caught them, the people that, cleaned them up and all this other stuff. But there was one people that predominantly made it happen. And this is where, people trying to get into word, they trying to wordsmith stuff to get out of, being responsible for it. But, because they'll say things like, oh, well, no, the Khazarians weren't the majority slave masters. They weren't the majority plantations owners. You say, okay, all right, we'll give you that. But who were the underwriters? Well, what you mean, Brother Benaiah? When you go and get a house and you try to finance, whether it be a house or a car, you're sitting down in the chair, you fill out your application, put your name, address, social, all that good stuff. You turn it over and he says, you know what? All right, man, brother, I'm going to go and run your information, and we're going to see if the underwriters approve it. Because the people that will give you a thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you buy a house, whether you buy a car, or whether you buy a slave, was the underwriters. There was only one people that were the underwriters. Almost 100%. It was the Khazarians. So don't let folks mislead you about giving you some other names and other titles about what they weren't. Well, no, we weren't the ship. We weren't driving the ships. We weren't the plantations owners. No. You were the underwriters, 100%. You made it happen. So let's get that straight. But all right, just want to put that out there, family, because, like I said, Candace, as she's going through, she's riffing right now, family. She's talking about, like, you guys would do this, you guys would do that. And she's pointing out that the Talmud allows them to do it, which it does. The Talmud allows them to do it because, according to the Talmud, if we're not them, then they can lie to us and steal from us. And they can mislead us. It's according to that religion.
That he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? It's an open-ended question. And yeah, I just hope that people feel inspired to similarly go max and stand up against it. And I don't even care about these lawsuits anymore. I mean, Ben's going to get me a legal letter so fast. I don't care, man. This is your hope. The Pharisees, people who write the laws, and we got the judges and blah, 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 and we'll put you in a private court and sue you for liking tweets. Like, you heard him on stage. Like, I was like literally sued for liking tweets. You know how petty you have to be to even look at somebody's likes? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then publicly trying to pretend like you care about free speech while you privately sue people who are just trying to leave your company after they're fired. You fired me. Like, let me go. Like, please let me go. Stop telling people you're chosen. You are not chosen to do shit.
Got to pause right there.
Sue people who are just trying to leave your company after they're fired. You fired me. Like, let me go. Like, please let me go. Stop telling people you're chosen. You are not chosen to do shit except within the synagogue of Satan. Clearly, because everything you do is the manufacturing of lies, bullying, getting people to write articles, smearing, libeling. Yeah, it's pretty explicit. What
I told you she transformed. She's transforming.
kind of people engage in that sort of stuff? So anyways, let me stop telling you guys how I really feel. AU Basri writes, damn, let her cook. Nam writes, I might not be rich, but this is for the joy you gave me for calling out Mini Benny out for his Napoleon complex. I haven't had a laugh that good in a while. Thank you. Go Max, stay Max. Guys, this isn't even the tip of the iceberg in terms of what that man has put me through because I survived. Like literally, it's like that's why I say it's a slave owner mentality. It's very obvious that that's what it is. Why are you hosting?
Now, I just have to add some commentary on this one, family, because this is what I mean by Kansas is she's transforming. Because remember at some point, Candace, she used to not understand this whole thing about slavery and how that's impacting Black folks nowadays. But now she's talking about slavery and how people get treated like slaves.
300 people to fire someone. What is that? Here's what she did wrong. Here's what she did wrong. And I'm just like the one who doesn't even flinch because literally F you. Yeah, literally F you. I don't care. Stop. Kanye was right. He was totally right. That's why he burned down his life and said, I'd rather rebuild it than let you own 1 ounce of it. And when you do rebuild it and they don't own it, well, then you get into a scary territory, right? You get into a scary territory because what they are willing to do to take when they can't earn it, it's very scary. History tells us and shows us. A KXH writes, they're angry that Candace is intelligent, eloquent, beautiful, and stays beating them at every turn. I am so glad that you spoke up about the racial element of this. You're a role model to us Black women everywhere. Candace, go Max. Yeah, guys, Black people just got to learn your history, man. You got to learn the minstrel shows.
Wait, Candace is talking about Black history. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to stop. We're going to let it play. I'm just saying, family. Candace is transforming now. I'm just saying, Candace is transforming. She'll be talking about Black history, slavery. Man, Candace she's transformed. She's going through it, family.
You spoke up about the racial element of this. You're a role model to us Black women everywhere. Candace, go Max. Yeah, guys, Black people just got to learn your history, man. You got to learn the minstrel shows, who's behind the minstrel shows, and the truth behind the Jim Crow laws, and who, even when you learn about the Klansmen, I mean, the things that happened, and all they had to do was control our textbooks and keep us all fighting each other. And you're out here talking about what the white man has done. Who do you think tried to genocide the white man in Europe? Right? Yeah, take a look at that. I keep telling you, watch that PBS documentary that they came after me hardcore for speaking about. What the savage piece? Yeah, those are your ancestors, guys. Yeah. You are European, like white Europeans. These are your ancestors. And with propaganda, they basically mow the lawn. They get you as white men to sign up and agree to murder white men on the other side of the world. It's white men murdering white men, and for different reasons being propagandized. Wake up. Like, we all need to wake up and lock arms against sheer evil. And the military industrial complex is sheer evil. And the psychological games they are playing with people, they're playing on people, is sheer evil. What Charlie was going through in the end, because of Jewish donors threatening him, I'm going to take everything, if you even let Tucker speak, over speech, is sheer evil. It's despicable. Somebody should apologize for it. Instead, they go, we'll buy our way, and Benny will sit near Charlie's chair, and we'll pretend he was his friend. We can just buy everything. We'll buy your compliance. No, actually, our answer to that is no. Christy writes.
All right, we'll leave that one there. Yeah, but I like just to kind of highlight some posts here too. Hallelujah, Mr. Soulful. Oh, peace and blessings, my brother. Yeah, hopefully everybody, you're doing well. Sister Betty, Ema Betty, is doing well as also, I pray. Yeah, that's our brother, Mr. Soulful. Let me see here. The Most High is using various people to bring the truth forward. Nothing is not by accident. Candace is just another instrument of the Most High, just like Trump. Yes, sir. Most High will use anybody. I mean, think about the, even the Apostle Paul. I mean, he was unaliving people. He was putting folks to death, right? And still the Most High used him. So, I mean, like the Apostle Paul, Shaul, is like the ultimate example of the Most High using people, right? So we can't just look at what somebody did yesterday, like, oh man, they did this, or they're not even calling the Most High by his name, right? Most High can use anyone. And just to kind of prove that point, let's see, I did leave off some videos. Let's see. Oh man, I didn't even upload them. Oh well, I think I ran out of space. Okay. All right. Well, hey family, like I said, Candace is going through a transformation. She is going through a transformation. And like I said, the Most High is, using, I believe the Most High is using Candace. And who knows, I think that she will be different, a very different Candace Owens when all is said and done. And who knows what you're going to end up with. Right now she is, embracing Catholicism. That's the space that she's at right now. Just kind of looking back at my journey. I know that when I came out of, the mega church that I was a part of, a part of that ministry and stuff like that, I know that me and my family, we also went through some changes as well. We looked at the 7-day Adventists. And then from the 7th-day Adventists, also then looked at, looked at all places. I'll just put it to you that way. I don't put all my business out there. But looked at all different places, places where people were using the Most High's name, where people were still using Jesus and Jesus and stuff like that. And it's been a journey, family. So just like, I was changing, I kind of allow for people to change as well. So to that end, let me see if I was trying to find one other clip to highlight. Oh, that's that one. Oh yeah, this one. We'll do this one. Let me just do just 2 quick clips, family. This is to show you, because remember we was talking about how history was kind of whitewashed, and they try to swap things that were well, let me just play this clip. I'm trying to set it up.
Those of you that think that gospel music has gone too far, you think we've got too radical with our message. Well, I got news for you. You ain't heard nothing yet. Now you know. Glory, glory. You better work them hands together and act like you know up in here.
Come on, lift your voice to say, lately I've been
going through some things that's really got me down.
Put your hands together. Come on.
I need somebody to help me come and turn my life around.
I feel like I need some church up in here. Come on, say.
I can't explain it. I can't obtain it. Jesus, your love is so amazing. It gets me.
Sister Saw said no. Somebody said no. So you can see, family, when it's not, when something, you can tell when something's not right, when it's not a fit, right? You can tell when something's not right when it's not a fit. So my whole point in trying to put that video before your family is to show you that when you can tell when something doesn't belong, right, or something is off. But that's the thing about Black people, right? I mean, that's the thing about our people, family, is that there's always been a uniqueness about us. There's always been some sort of spirituality about us that even, family, check this out, even when we weren't in the truth, even when we were still, going to church on Sunday morning, you could tell that there was a spirituality about us, because when we sang, family, we made it sound good. We did.
Under the blood, me say me under the blood. Jesus cover me under the blood. Under the blood, me say me under the blood. Jesus, you will cover me under the blood. In the morning when me wake up, and the blood of Jesus me take up. And when me feel like me, I go break up. Put the blood on me face just like a makeup. In the morning when me wake up, and the blood of Jesus me take up. And when me feel like me heart break up, put the blood on me face just like a makeup. Under the blood, under the blood, Jesus cover me. Jesus, you will cover me. Stay under the blood, under the blood. Jesus, you will cover me. Jump on this. Listen, Christian I fight some things with them not see. So hold demons and principality. My body at the temple, keep it holy, sanctified, justified, give God the glory. Fighting against three terrible enemy. The world, Satan and myself against me. One day anointing, pour it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But yeah, we'll just leave it right there, family. Again, you know, thank you for hanging out. Definitely wanted to show you that Candace she's going through a transformation. So just keep praying that she continues her journey as she searches for the truth, and that in the end, this is really just for the redemption of the true people of Israel. Hallelujah. So, hey, family, and hope you enjoy your Shabbat services and fellowship and family and friends, and yeah, just keep watching, and most High willing, we'll put some you know, as we get the updates, we'll put some additional updates out. Oh, before I forget, on Sunday there is a big announcement with Maury Dwayne regarding social media. Family, this is like historic. This is literally like, this is some historic stuff that you definitely going to want to check it out. So just be on the lookout. I think I'd have it scheduled for like 1:45. It might get pushed back to 2 because there's a meeting before that, but it's right around 1:45, 2 o'clock. Just if you can, just be prepared to hop on here just for a moment, give you some major news for our community. Just a major milestone that's right around the corner, and yeah, just excited to bring it to you. So much love, peace and blessings. Love you, family, and shalom.
Tearing down idols, and we cutting down posts. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones, and we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. I'll praise to the Most High. I'll praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. I'll praise to the Most High. I'll praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, yeah. We don't need these stones. We ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. Yeah. Oh, all praise. Who we say? All praise. cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals. We don't need these stones. And we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. Everybody help me say all praise.